Dime, okay. Oh,
Hello, hello,
yeah.
hello.
Hello,
Carlos.
hello, hey. Good morning, Nestor.
Hey, man, too much technology here, so sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. This happens. Usually you have.
Yes, it happens. So, but we're here. Thank you again for joining. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, to share your knowledge. It's definitely a great opportunity for us to learn from your tips, from your skills. Thank you for doing this with the community.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. I'm just posting here the new link thing.
The new
I mean,
link.
on the new link here, so people if they catch it.
Okay,
No,
awesome.
yeah, no. Thank you for the opportunity, Nestor. All kudos to you. Because your channel is growing. So hey, man. And you're doing it in two languages, which is not easy stuff. It's
Hmm.
not something that not a lot of people can do, and if they do, man, it's a lot of work, man.
It is
it's
a lot
double.
of work.
It's double work. That's why it's a lot. Because it's double. So
Exactly, exactly. Well, let's get started then. I know people
yeah,
are anxious about learning new things and specifically Power BI and Excel. So let's get started. So
nice.
why
Okay,
don't you tell us more about yourself? I know you are very active in on LinkedIn and also in other social media platforms. You share a lot of content, good content. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and what exactly we should be expecting from you today in this session?
sure, sure. Okay, so Nestor, I think okay, so let me maybe I'll share my screen real quick and get these as a little bit of my how do you call this supporting tool. So I think you can present it now. So yeah, again, Nestor, the thank you for the opportunity. Let's talk about a bit of myself and this sort of philosophy of what a good a potential way to learn in Power BI and Excel, and also adding not necessarily but maybe a little bit of humor along the way. So the introduction will be about myself, Power BI memes, what motivates me, this recent recognition of MVP and projects. So a little bit of myself. You can find me on that URL on LinkedIn, but I'll give you already my here. You can see my screen. I think it should be. Wait, I'm a little bit getting lost here. So this one. Oh, maybe I had it over here. My apologies. But you can already see my screen, right? You can see my photo, a recent photo I took. Um, that's my blog. It's called Spill Graphics. But usually I consider myself just an analyst, a soldier of data, a data worker. I know there's more fancy titles over there: data engineer, data scientist, data architect. You know, but I just keep myself lucid about what I do, which is sometimes we have to switch hats as a consultant. Usually you have to, be the cleaner, be the modeler, be the visualization, also be the psychologist. You have to hear, you have to listen well what the client wants, what the requirement is. And sometimes even listening well, you will discover that what they're saying is something. I mean, they're telling you what they want, but actually not exactly. So you kind of help them to find out what they really want. So listening, and that's why I say psychologists, right? Because they listen to their patients and they listen well. We got two ears, just one mouth, right? So we got to use them effectively. Um, I think I let me just put that was my page, but this is my LinkedIn if you guys want to follow. You see the same photo here, and then the forum follows function, which is also a philosophy of mine when it comes to data visualization. Um, just as a quick recap, I did. I think I gotta put this on the other side, Nestor, so I can see you. Um, I'm an economist by training. I studied in the U.S. I lived there for 8 years, and then, but I was originally from Venezuela, and then after finishing my studies in United States, I didn't play too much with good luck in getting a H-1 visa, which is a work visa. So I decided to go back to either Venezuela or Peru. And I said, let me try Peru. That's where my parents are from. I was born in Venezuela, so I have a dual nationality. And I said, hey, you know what? Maybe I could try trying to enter in the central bank of Peru. So in 2012, I moved into Peru. It was supposed to stay maybe 3 to 6 months, but now the rest is history. Now on to 2023, and I've been a freelance consultant since 2015, since March of that year, and I just been doing that. I started as a business analyst right after December of 2012, and I've been an analyst ever since, working with data, working with Excel, and in the last maybe 5 years working with Power BI. And that's a little bit of about me. I don't know if you have any questions, Nestor.
Yeah, I didn't know that you wanted to work for the central bank of Peru.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You,
initially,
uh-huh.
yeah, it was an ambitious goal. I didn't get it. I did study a lot while I was preparing myself, because I got to Peru on August of 2012, and
Uh-huh.
the exam was in October. So I had August, September, and a little bit of October to study economics again. I mean, that's what I went for school for.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to study everything, review everything, and then the exam. I was along with, I think I was along with 300 other students who were trying to also taking the exam to even pass to another of like a school of the central bank of 30 people, and then
Mm.
from there they choose only three out of those
Mm.
30.
It's very
And
competitive.
it's very competitive, very
Mm-hmm.
competitive. But the central bank is kind of, it's very lucid. It's one of the best institutions here in Peru. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I didn't get it, so okay, I was a bit bumped. So October passed, November passed, and then in December I offer an opportunity to become a business analyst, and it required a lot of Excel, a lot, like intensively, array formulas all over the place. So array formulas is already somewhat advanced, and not so intuitive for many folks. So it really led me to study an advanced part of Excel, and that way, kind of like just ever since I just flourished my career working with that tool, but also working as an analyst and working and getting really comfortable with data. Cleaning data, handling messy data, handling inconsistent on unstructured data. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I keep
So
I
which
interrupt me, please, because
no, no,
else I
it's
keep
fine.
talking.
No worries. So I know it's quite common to have dirty data and clean data, right? So which tools do you usually use to clean that data? I'm just curious.
So back in the, this will sound maybe a little bit on I mean, surprising, because for some data that I had to handle within CSV, we bring him to Excel, but the way the format was, we actually use index and match to unpivot it. Like, we use formulas to unpivot the formula. We also use BBA, but not so much. And then yeah, pretty much. And we also use pivot tables to clean data. Yeah, there's a way to, maybe one day I'll do these videos so people can find out how you can clean data with pivot tables. Yeah, you can do that. And then Power BI, Power Query came along, and that was like life changing, because even it came in as an add-in, so you had to install the add-in separately from Excel, but it was native. I mean, it was from Microsoft, and then that's where things just like, I was amazed, my colleagues were amazed, and that's that Power Query came in 2013, and I use it lightly. But then in 2014 and maybe the beginning of 2015, I use it like heavily. Like, I automated so much of these manual cleaning that we did before, that it was like mind blowing. It was like life changing. Power Query really is I think is the only tool out of all of them that people really get shocked or like impressed or like amazed of what they can do with just simple clicks. Click, 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 and then the steps that they're doing is being recorded, and it could be replicable to another set of data. Of course, if it has the same columns, but maybe a different time frame. And I think it's just one of those tools that once people see like the data being changed and all that, they just get too excited. I guess they see the immediate effect, and that's what makes it awesome. Let me just change my page here.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely. And the good thing is that you don't need to have knowledge about the M language. It's just follow the steps, and then all the steps are recorded. And then if you want to change anything, you can go back to the previous step and make the changes. So it's awesome.
yeah, yeah. No need to know M, but if you want to go deep and like M is the way. M is the way. You can do maybe 80%. Maybe I'll be a little bit, I'll say 90%, but maybe 80 is fine of what you will need cleaning data. But if you want to be more advanced, maybe consolidate different steps into one. Nice. Then you need to learn M. It makes your code or it makes your process to run faster, and that's sometimes very critical because sometimes you Power Query can go to Excel or Power BI, and you want that refresh to go really, really fast, like really fast. So maybe less that it takes less than a couple of 30 seconds, maybe, ambitiously.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
So okay, so I left it there on the page, but here if you guys go to my page, Spill Graphics, you can see a complete resume pretty much. And I don't like to talk too much about myself. I like talking about ideas and nerd stuff. So just to recap, so that's why I didn't go into detail about each individual part. But it was I think you got a high level sense of me. So
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
no problem,
So
man.
let's move on to the next topic. I believe we have the
Yeah.
power
Okay.
of memes and music to learn Power BI.
Yep. Thank you for putting this. So let's Okay, so basically, a lot of people ask me when they see my post on LinkedIn, and like what's up with the music, or like, it's just because I guess when I started the project, and this will be an example of music, is when I started the whole thing of putting the website, and actually the reason behind the website of Spill Graphics, it was a little bit of and let me click here. It was because I had all these work of charts, of Excel charts with dynamic arrays, which is a functionality that came out in December of 2018. But I didn't start getting playful with it until March of 2020. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, I started playing around. Actually, no, January of 2020, I started playing around with, hey, how about if you do this and that? Because I think for some reason, I think um, dynamic arrays came general availability GA, or general availability for everyone. I think around maybe mid of 2019, maybe. So that's why I didn't have Insider Veda channel. So I waited like maybe 6 months until it was available for in my computer. As soon as it was, I did take a course, and then I retake that same course from Leila Garani. I don't know if you ever watched this. I mean, thank you, Leila, because your course on dynamic arrays was life changing for me in Udemy. I retake it, and that's when I started saying, "Hey, how about if we change? I mean, how about if we combine these dynamic arrays with charts and get more interactive with it?" So that was sort of the initial part from the software. And maybe I can go here. If you go to my page, well, this page, and you click GIF, you can see the very first graphic, which it was Amazon Profit. And I want to say that the music behind all of this, I was listening. I mean, after I took the course and I started just getting data and seeing the examples from the Tableau community. This, for example, is an example from Klaus. I think his last name is Scholz from Germany. He's a Tableau guy, and I saw this and I say, let's replicate it with Excel and dynamic arrays, So while I was doing that, I was listening to a lot of techno and house and Chicago house and Detroit techno, electronic music in general. And I was like, I was just, I was getting very enthused about, oh, look at this and do that. And just the chart changes. And what impressed me the most is that you can do this with the old formulas, but because of dynamic arrays, the complexity is reduced. You still have some complexity depending on how advanced you want to go with this, but is more reduced than before. Before you had to go to offset, count a, rows, some couple of functions that would allow you to sort of span and collapse the array. Here is more simple. Here is automatically. That's why, and I think previously you wanted to ask me why the name Spill Graphics is because of a spill ranges, which is that now with the new calculation engine of Excel, you get an array result. Before you will only get just a scalar result. I mean, you will still get an array result, but you have to do Control Shift Enter into one cell, and then you have to expand that cell down manually or with the mouse in order to see the rest of the results. So yes, it was that was the old way, the legacy way. But now you can get one result in one cell, or you can get a spill result, which is an array result, and that's why the name spill ranges from dynamic arrays. I would say that sometimes the two terms are interchangeable, or sometimes they're the same thing. But let's just think about it like dynamic array functions is unique, sort by, sequence, and then the result of them is spill ranges. So I borrowed the name spill for this of graphics, that are now interactive or dynamic. Spill graphics, and that's sort of the name of this, and that then also the story behind the music. We can go to other examples here now. 02 now with you can connect buttons. I think this gets a little bit blurry, so sorry for that. Maybe I'll do, yeah. You can see a little bit of the functions there, sort by and filter. You can connect the sort of the parameter, what filters this, the same way we do in DAX, right, to a cell. And that cell could be actually a pivot table. So that's what I'm doing pretty much here. And I'll maybe back up. And this was the second example. And again, the music behind, oh, that's another example. What? That one. So what I'm doing here is with the pivot table slicers, yeah, pivot tables, I'm sort of filtering the data and sorting it, or maybe just segmenting it in a way that the user can have the option or the flexibility too. And all these graphics that I did, which is about now up to 42, I think it is. Yep, 42. You don't see 41 and 42. I mean, because I haven't posted it here. But all these 40 examples were all done with music in the back, and it just motivated me to really just I don't know, flourish this creativity with dynamic arrays, chart, and also I want to say that and let me take a sip here. This is very important because let me maybe go to this view, Excel charts with dynamic arrays. You can download all these examples for free. Um, what kind of happened on the side is was some of the graphics I knew how to do. Like I understood how to read a bar chart and a line chart, you know. But some other graphics, it really like helped me to understand how to interpret them. And one of them was, for example, connect the scatter plot that you see there. Like I knew how to read it, but then when I was recreating the example in Excel, it really like made me more closer to how to understand it, like deeper. And for another example, maybe I can talk about index charts too. I mean, I knew how to read them and how to appreciate them, but here because remaking something from scratch kind of really helps you to really learning or to cement or to solidify what you think you know, but now because you're recreating it with your hands, maybe metaphorically, it makes the learning to be more solid on you. So that would be a tip. If you want to learn a chart or something like that, or just try to recreate it, if it's possible, of course.
Mhm.
So
That's awesome. Someone had a question. Say, are you sharing the file? I believe it's on your website, right?
yeah, yeah. So we can't see your name, so sorry. It just says LinkedIn user, but you can go right here onto this site, spillgraphics.com,
Hmm.
and maybe I can drop this on the private chat, Nestor, and then you can drop this
Oh yeah,
comment, this URL on the chat, and then there you go. I
yeah.
mean, so people can go to that website, and then they will see here on post, okay, and then on post you go to the first section, which is the Excel charts with dynamic arrays. So that's the story behind with the music and the charts, and I really just, and even not just for charts but learning DAX. I mean, and when I say learning DAX, how? Because you either listening to somebody, learning the language, or the new formulas, or you
Hmm.
listen to music, right? They are you multitasking? I'm like, no, no, no. I have taken the courses of Marco and Alberto Ferrari, with DAX from SQL BI. I have taken courses from other people from Udemy. I have taken courses from the Element of DAX from Brian, and I also learned DAX from Mike Gervin from Excel is Fun. I also have learned DAX from now recently from from Greg Deckler. He's new. He's what's it called? He's no calculate approach.
Hmm.
It's a
Oh
it's a
yeah,
different
yeah.
approach.
It's interesting.
It's a
Don't
good
use
book. It's a good
calculate.
book.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, don't use
Ha-
calculate, right?
have you
um,
started reading the book yet?
yeah, I have, and I'm checking out the formulas. I would say this: the formulas are longer,
Hmm.
but what's nice is that he breaks it. He breaks. It's all about like your results. You're breaking it into tables, and then you're filtering those tables more and more and more until you get to the result. And
Right. How do
I
how do
like.
you modify the filter context, the raw context, if you don't use calculate? I'm just curious.
Okay, so
Because
the context transition, I still
uh
haven't got to that part. I'm very curious about that. Really
yeah,
curious
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
there's a point where you need context transition.
Right, yeah.
So I haven't got to that point. I don't know if he covers it. Maybe he does covers it with the examples, but I will let you know maybe now on this because I'm still getting into the book. I'm really checking out his week today and week formulas, because the reason is I work with a lot of weekly data, and you don't have time intelligence,
Hmm.
week functions. So I have to go to other approaches that Alberto Ferrari and Marco Russo have shared, DAX patterns about week time intelligence
Oh
data,
yeah.
and they're not using the time intelligence classical functions. They're
Hmm.
using other approaches. That really helped me to learn DAX. So again, I learned from these, took my time, took the courses a couple of times. I'm retaking mastering of DAX from them again just to refresh.
Hmm.
And then what I do is, okay, now and this we can actually come up of music in combination to learn this, because now go ahead and grab a data, grab actually a data set that is meaningful for you, like that
Hmm.
you really care about. It could be work or non-work related, but that is really meaningful for you, because the meaningful mean is like you're familiar with it, and because of that relationship or familiarity, it
Hmm.
will it will help to learn your it will help out your learning curve of DAX using real data, and that connection really helps out to really cement that you're mastering or starting to dominate DAX, the tool, and also to understanding more your data. Because I'm grabbing a maybe a DAX, a data challenge from LinkedIn, that now there's so many, and I really applaud that. It really helps people to start playing around with data. I really applaud all of them. Is to grab it, put some music, and get creative. It seems that if you already took the course and you already know the concepts, then go ahead and start playing around with data. I mean, I can't show you an example right now. I don't have it open. Maybe I can start opening in the meantime. But just grab a data, grab some music, start playing with, bring it to Power BI, get involved with those challenges, and then it really is gonna help you to get your hands dirty, and that's the best way to learn, by doing and practicing a lot. You finish one, submit it, get the next month, do another one, and again, if it's work related, awesome, because you're killing. I mean, I don't know if this is a good way to say. Maybe some vegan is gonna be like, "Hey, don't say that." You kill two birds from one shot, right? but
Mhm.
huh, but
Exactly.
but if you can do work related and you maybe wanna do it with fake data, then you have the challenges. So that would be my tip for that. Uh,
Yeah, definitely. So music is your inspiration. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, music is really keeps you the flow going. Of course, it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be techno and house, but it can be anything. But maybe a nice, a groovy, or maybe chill jazz on the back. But it
Mhm.
does really help you to like stay focused and get a little bit artistic with this. With learning a
Exactly.
new tool, Power BI or Excel, either of the two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know you have a couple of examples about memes and visualizations, but before we go into that, let's take a look at that picture over there. So, what are your thoughts on that?
This one, let's make it bigger.
Yeah,
Let's make it bigger.
yeah.
Let's make it bigger. Okay, and let's make
I
it way
found,
bigger here.
yeah, I
There we
found that
go.
really
Oh, no,
interesting.
no, no. That's okay. So stop adding clear all filters buttons. There's already one in the service.
Which is true, right? There is one
Yeah,
already
it's
in the
true,
service,
right? It's a
but
bit
it's
of
a little bit hidden.
I mean, right. It is a bit hidden, and but they're different though, in a way, because
Mhm.
um well, depending how you. So okay, so there is a different, a subtle and maybe a significant difference between the two, because these clear all filter buttons, I'm assuming you're referring to bookmarks, right? Like a clear all bookmark,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
or
you
no?
can. Yeah, in the past, we used to use bookmarks, but now there is a new clear all button specifically
Oh,
just to click on that and then click and filters everything. But in the Power BI service, there is also another one, but it's the native, the native button. It's right there, and then, but it's easy to get lost because it's the right side of your screen, so you cannot see it. That's why I personally I like to put this customized clear all button just in the report. So that way, okay, it's easy to see. Right here, click on here, and then you're good to go.
and you need them. You know why? Because if you
Mhm.
embed the report, you don't have the other button the other button
Mm,
from service.
that's also a good
So
point. Yeah.
although the meme is funny, but it does call into a lot of discussion is,
Hmm.
do you need both, or how are you going to consume the report? Are you going to consume it directly on workspace, on service, or maybe through an app, or
Hmm.
are you going to consume it through a website embedded? If you're going to do embedded, then add it
Hmm.
on your canvas, right, on your report.
Hmm.
If you don't, if you're not, then not that you don't need to set it up, right? But you still have the other filter all button that is not bookmark, right? Is the other one that
Hmm.
you're mentioning. So
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
your
That's
audience, know your audience. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I like to add a customizable clear all button because it's easier for the audience, for the end user, just to click on that and that's it.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Totally.
Cool. So
Good. So okay, this is a good segue for memes, okay? Because you
mhm,
asked me, okay, you have the music, you have the now what's up with the memes? Okay, the memes, okay. So the memes is also another thing of me, like that we can go. It's also on the website. People can check out this. Maybe we can move this. There's a post here that is called data visualization memes with Power BI, and the way to get to it, you go to post, and then you go to the second section that it says, maybe, sorry for this, Nestor, I don't have my Summit active now. I do. So you go here, and then there we go. You go to this section. First, you go to post, and then you go to native Power BI graphics. Once you do that, and then it will take you to, it will be number 5. So here you have number 1, number 2, a couple of other posts that I done, and then you get up to 5, which is data visualization mean of Power BI. You click more, and you can read all of them that I have posted. I have to update this post with the new one, which is the 8th. You can click right here where it says go here to check it out on Power BI. Well, let me just turn back and call that. Oh, we already have it open. So it's right here. So, what's the purpose of this, and why I'm using memes to sort of educate? Because just as the first step is just to get people a little bit comfortable with a bit of humor, just comfortable. Like, hey, they might recognize Kombucha Girl, from other memes and from other contexts. That's her nickname, but her real name is Brittany, and people might recognize that. And again, the familiar tip, using something of relationship, familiarity that I mentioned before, with with a data that matters to you, that is meaningful to you. I'm also using here that people already have seen a couple of memes in other contexts of her, but now they see the meme and now they're interested, maybe hooking their interest, and now say, hey, now that I got your attention, now let's be educative and say pie charts. If they're not well designed, they're gonna become a useless artifact, of presenting information. They're alternative, and depending, which, how you wanna focus that alternative. In this case, for this meme, I use a bar chart, but for other examples, I have used maybe a little bit of a slope chart. You have two pies, but you want to maybe compare the two pies, and then you can use a slope chart and be more space efficient. Here you have all this space, but now you can reduce it to this space, which is, it might be smaller, maybe it might be similar, but because maybe we're not good at measuring areas, right? But um it does, like, it just takes less ink. You're just using a line as opposed to a whole area of encoding, a slice of a pie. And again, let me go back to code. That's what was sort of the reason of me. Okay, can I use some a bit of humor to educate? And it's been working. I mean, initially I did it for myself, and it was more for clients, to really say, hey, we have this graphic. And then whenever I saw that they were doing a line chart, and the line chart has so many colors, so many lines, I tell them, hey, look, let's let me show you something, an alternative, because what happens is that usually on the reports, they will show me their line chart, and then they will try to add labels to this, and it would become very cluttered. And then they would try to do other things, and they told me, hey, I just don't. And then the tooltip, they will mention the tooltip doesn't look right, just too loaded. What can we do? And then when they ask me what can we do, then I get excited because, okay, 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 let me show you an alternative, and then I present my meme. So it's a thing that started with clients, privately, but then one day, I just decided to publish it on the web, publicly. And then Brian Julius from Enterprise DNA kind of like saw it and just like praised me and messaged me on LinkedIn, like, oh man, this report that you did, I mean, this phenomenal. I did learn a lot, and I was surprised. I was like, oh my god. It took a bit of notice from him and other people, and from there, you know, a simple initiative that actually went creating it. I was listening to music, just getting creative, bringing down everything that I have learned from the book that you see here. All this, bringing it to memes, and then really just putting a short sentence, putting it all together, making the comparison of bad and good. And then up to that point, I only had like 7. I published it with those first 7 right here, and then we can go into each individual one, Nestor. But I just wanted to give some brief
Uh-huh.
history of where this whole thing came, and now I'm gonna continue it. Some people liked it, some people enjoyed it. um I'm open to critiques. Maybe some other people are saying, no, this is wrong or anything. I'm open to debate, but it has worked with educating people, especially people that want to improve their or want to hone their skills with the graphics. It really has helped for really getting the idea across. How
Yeah,
can we improve it? Okay, so yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love that one. It's really really powerful because you only are visualizing the line that you are filtering. So check
Okay,
check check brand 30, for example.
yep. I think Ronald Liu
Yeah,
is
love
is,
that
is
one.
on the chat. Yeah. Greetings, Ronald. He's a friend from Curacao. Also
Uh-huh.
good into graphics. Maybe you should invite him because the way I
Mhm.
got in touch with Ronald is that he posted a comment, a mind blowing comment about some good UX principles,
Uh-huh.
sort of like giving feedback to another person who posted a report on COVID, and he said this, and that. It just blew me away. Contact him, and then we've been in touch ever since. So I think he's a good lad to talk about UX and graphics. He knows his
Right.
stuff. Okay, go
And
back to this. Sorry, Nestor.
uh-huh.
So yeah, you switch the color of this, and again, I just switched it because okay, what was the purpose of the mean for this one? It
Right.
was to if like if we go to this one, like if everything is color, color, this, each color, each hue, each contrast becomes important. And if everything becomes important, then nothing is, nothing is important. So how do we make it more accessible, more digestible for the people who wants to interpret a line chart? The line chart is good. I mean, it's presenting the data without any deception, or it's not being deceitful, deceitful. Sorry, but then again, it's really like, what should I pay attention to? The green line? Should I pay attention to the blue line? The it's really hard because color really grabs your attention. So what can we do? Then what we can do is maybe just highlight one line and process it, put it into context, put it into comparison, a more comparative lens by using gray. Gray is your friend. Gray is the best color, I say. No, I'm kidding. But you can put it on the background, highlight the one that you're interested, and then applying a little bit of gestalt. Gestalt, the principle of similarity. We got orange here, we got orange here, and then we got orange here. So all these things right here are related. So I help the user. So as soon as they click here, they're already knowing that the hue is orange, and they're immediately gonna see that. They immediately gonna see that 18 is the one being highlighted, but I'm also being a little bit extra redundant and saying 18 is the one selected, just in case. And this helps people because now they can see, okay, now let me do a blue here, and 4 or 3, sorry. Oh, I just call, I'm getting a little bit funky. There we go. So, and blue. So now, how can they interpret? Now let's process 18. What's happening here? 18 is going, it started low, and then it increased. And it actually went above $500,000, and then it went down. So now people can start asking, okay, why did it went down? Did we ran out of product? Did we the competition got more aggressive with prices, and then we had a spike. Why, what's up with that spike? And maybe the answer is there was some sort of promotion on the web, and then it went down all the way even lower than this. And then this is sort of the things that you can get from a line chart, and then it went up again, and then it starts to sort of have a positive trend line, positive linear trend line at the end of this period of this graphic. So just one line being highlighted, it can tell you so much. And then if we switch it to maybe others, which is an interesting case, because others is, you can interpret it as, okay, it started really like high up above 5 million. That's why I love grid lines. A lot of people, maybe I can rant a little bit about grid lines, because what people do is that they eliminate grid lines, but they leave the y-axis. I don't understand. If you're not gonna use grid lines, then take this off. I mean, what's the point? The point of the y-axis is to have the grid line so people can, with their eye, can see, the grid line. But it has to be a nice, subtle grid line on the back so people can really see this. Because, for example, in this case, it helps me just by these dots over here that are very subtle. It tells me that, for example, brand 18 was above, or it kind of confirms that it was above $5 million in sales, right? $500,000, sorry. And then it went down, and then it's been low, was ever since maybe up to July of 2020, kind of reached at that point again, but it still maintained itself low. And then a manager can say what happened at this point, around after October 2020. Then sales just went up, and it became my second brand, others, right after 2021. So look at all the information that a graphic is telling you. And again, graphic is an artifact to help you answer questions, and even maybe pose questions that were originally put in place, so yeah.
Awesome. I'm just curious about how you build this one right here. I believe you use DAX measures to make this dynamic. What is the background about this dynamic report, just at a high level?
Okay, we can definitely check that out. I hope one day I can sort of share this workbook.
Mhm.
But as you can see, there's a couple of other examples that are coming that are
Mhm.
still on the lab, on the experiment. But for I want once I say, this is enough, up to this, I'll share with everyone. Definitely, because it was public. Maybe I can do two versions, but the thing is that whenever I have two versions, then I get confused. So
Yeah.
let's go to that one at a time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this one, for example, if I click here, then you can see what's the hack. The hack is
Uh-huh.
right here, and let's do red. I'm using, in order to plot each individual line, you have to do a separate DAX measure, just plotting.
Mhm.
So, and then for the orange line, it's over
Uh,
here.
so you're
Maybe let
using
me.
you're using calculate to
Yep.
filter a
Oh,
specific brand.
almighty calculate for my friend Greg Deckler. No, but here, so selected brand. Yep. I don't.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to put it on the secondary axis. You can put it here. I don't know why at that time I put it on the secondary axis, but you can put it right there. And
Uh-huh.
then with the options of color, you can just right here. Then you can just tell it the selected brand to be orange and the rest to be all
Right.
gray. You have that control. But now, this is the hack that works with maybe up to 20 lines. But say that you have 25 or 50, then you
Uh-huh.
have to do 50 measures.
It's insane.
It's insane,
Yeah.
so it's not scalable. It doesn't
Yeah.
scale. So it's a hack, but it's unfortunately doesn't scale. Imagine if you have 10,000, then
Right.
yeah, then
Yeah.
10,000
Hopefully.
DAX.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't have a lot of brands for this type of visual, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
right. It works if you have maybe 10. Even it works even at 50, but then you do consider that you have to do 50 DAX measures, and
Yeah.
that can sound a little bit
Intimidating.
unmotivating, right? Yeah. And then just to also for people who are curious, okay, how you do highlighting? Because usually a slicer kind of like filters a visual, right?
Hmm.
Then the technique of disconnected tables. So this is a disconnected table, which is, oh, sorry. I lost my own work. I lost
No,
memory of
I
my
mean
own
it's a
work.
lot. So
No,
no.
so the slicer is coming from here, from this column right here, from this table. Okay,
Hmm.
that
And
goes
you're
here.
right, and then you're using just a native slicer.
And just as native, oh, actually, the
Ah,
cliched slice, yep, right there, the
yeah, I
chiclet
see.
slicer, 1.6.3.
It's
And
free, I believe.
it's free, and it's useful. Hopefully, we can get the same, all the native stuff for the regular native
Uh huh.
slicers. And okay, then people ask me, how is it that it's not filtering? Oh, it's because calculate alters the filter context of all these
Exactly.
lines. So that's why it's not filtering them. Since each, and we can go back to that. So since each individual calculate for each individual line is there, so that's why it doesn't filter it.
Uh-huh.
It's just gonna
Yeah. So you
filter
remove the
like
filtered
them.
context with calculate. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Exactly. Yep.
Mhm.
And that's it. I mean, nothing more than that.
That's awesome. I like that type of visual a lot, to be honest. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice,
play with
nice.
that. Yeah,
There's
awesome.
another option though that's scalable. Okay, that the other
Mhm.
option is that actually the most recent, um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
That's a good one.
the most, the most recent meme, which is the band chart. And again,
Uh-huh.
all kudos to my friend Robert Mondegill from Germany, who kind of talk about is the only place that I've seen about band chart in a theoretical level. And
Uh-huh.
maybe what I can do is maybe, oh, I don't have it here, but oh, I think maybe we can see it on a bigger space. So the band chart is also doing the same. It's also another option to the spaghetti chart. You know, like if you see all these colors, again, which one should I pay attention to? The only one that
Mhm.
pops out is red, and it's only because red is a powerful color. That's why with red we have to be very cautious about it. I know it implies negative, bad, but in China it doesn't. In China it actually is celebrated. It's a color of, for them, is positive. So that's why with color we have to be like, if people learn about color theory, I always say this: at the end of the day you're going to become stingy with color. You're going to be very careful and thoughtful about color, because each individual color is important. So for this one, what can we do? Then what we can do is the band chart. And in essence, the band chart is just actually doing, it's just grabbing what's the maximum of all these lines, and then for the next period, and for the next period, and for the next period, and for the next period, the maximum and the minimum. So at that point, when you do that, then pretty much this is what you're gonna grab. We're gonna get a this line, or maybe I can do a blue for this. Is plotting this line like this, whoop, 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 going like this, like this, like this, for the maximum. Because this orange line is the maximum, is the brand that sold the most. And then you have to do the same exercise for the bottom one. So once you got that, then this is the band chart. Now for example, what's kind of like the min max of all these lines, and then the final result, and Jesus approve, um, this result. Now, and it places the line, the selected line, the black line, into context. Again, context, context, context. I mean, you're talking me numbers, but compared to what, you know? And then the band chart really helps with that. I think we saw this example previously, right? With the others. Now I know that others kind of like, I think I see another message there. Okay. It was top and then went below the average. Okay. uh, in the other example, we didn't have the average line. We didn't have average. So now this is very important, because the average kind of helps to put into context, into greater context, what the selected brand looks like. So now we know that all the brands were selling around maybe half a million dollars. And look, you can see that. That's why I love grid lines, subtle grid lines, of course. And then the average has always been below this number right here. But now, if I select a brand, which is others, now I see it was above average, and then it went below average all year long, until somewhere happened here, around week. Maybe that's why we need a tooltip. Right around that week, a manager will ask, "What happened in that week that you kind of like on pivot the sales on week 45?" And then the manager will give the story, and that's where storytelling comes, and people start getting creative with presentation and all that. And we did this, and then it was so good that it became above average.
Right.
And then you can
Hey,
see that. And then, yep, what's that?
sorry to interrupt you. So I think Ron was with us. He made a comment.
Yeah, Ronald Liu. Yeah, he's from
Yeah,
Curacao. Yep,
yeah.
close to, well, Mike. Yep.
He's here with us. So thank you for stopping by.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So um. Again, yeah. So again, you see the tooltip, and then you see, okay, others in a way. Oh, in a way, okay, it did increase sales. Okay, we see that it went above the average, but it didn't reach the maximum. Okay, now if we click brand 21, I believe, I think I lost you, Nestor. Are we good, Nestor? You can hear me?
I think so. There's a bit of
Like it
delay, but
was
I think we're good.
okay, a
Can you hear
little
me
bit of a
okay?
glitch, right? I can hear you good. All good here. So
Okay,
here
okay,
you
good.
have brand 21, okay? And then again, look at the how the for example, the line wasn't the maximum on this period, because it's right within the band chart. But then after week 11, it was the brand that sell the most. And again, the bench chart kind of helps with that. It really helps into context. And again, the meme shows, okay, we see the chart, but then we see the reaction, and then why is the reason that this doesn't work, and then we see Jesus approving, being happy for this example, but why does it work, and we kind of give reasons that are being demonstrated across time, that I have learned from books, and also supported by scientific research on the human mind, on how we perceive information, that this works, paying attention, focusing a line, chunking, gestalt principles, pre-attentive attributes, and all this. And then how do we put all that theoretical knowledge gathered from scientific research into the real life? Well, you can, and this is my approach of memes. So I'll stop here, Nestor. Any questions?
No, this is awesome. I like the context. Like you said before, it's better or it's worse against what, and that's why we have a benchmark, which is the average for this particular case. So if you change to a different brand, for example, go to brand one, if we have one,
We don't have one, but we
but
have maybe
30,
30.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
so it was better for the previous brand. It was better against average, but now this brand
Yep.
is not good compared to average. So that's that's the that's the beauty of the data visualization piece, because we
Mm.
have to compare against something, and then based on those results we can make decisions, right? For this particular case, the question would be, hey, why brand 30 is below average? So what is driving this? And then you keep asking more questions, and then you will go even deeper trying to understand the root cause. So that's the beauty of the data visualization tool.
It just reveals the data that
Mhm.
you might see on a table,
Mhm.
okay? But it just makes it more obvious, and that's the beauty of it. It's supposed to make it more obvious, aid our perception and understanding. Of course, you might say, okay, well, it's a simple bar chart. I mean, it's a simple line chart. Yeah, right. But it's a line chart that is telling you this brand sells above, below the average, and then also tells you is one of those brands that really sells a little bit. So now, do we want this brand to go and do this, or do we want this brand to go like this and keep growing? Okay, and not be the bottom line. And if it's the bottom line, is it being profitable? Like you say, it leads you to more question. If it's not profitable, then why have it? Let's discontinue this brand. It's not, it doesn't sell pretty much. So a graphic is revealing that, right? As opposed to maybe 21, no, 23, 18. Okay, 18 is like it improved. Okay, it went above the average, and it's been above the average, but then it's circling the average and then it's doing some hiccups. Then we might say, okay, why is it doing this? Do we want to like maybe stabilize and maybe start growing it like that, or maybe it just leads you to decisions. It really leads you to that. So, um,
Yeah,
uh,
totally agree with that. And then Ron is saying, I like the band chart.
oh,
Didn't
you
know
like the band
about.
chart?
Yeah, we are on the same page. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that one
well,
as well.
okay, let me just maybe sell. Sorry for the plug, but you go to the web. You go to my here my blog, okay, and
Mhm.
maybe and go to this section right here. Native graphics, native. I call it native because uh, it just to sell a little bit, just to say that everything, the examples that you see here are native. I'm not using a custom visual. Even on the meme report, some of them are native, but okay, I did use Zebra VI and Zebra VI Plus because they made amazing visual that I wish all the functionality was within natively, but no, their visual is amazing, amazing. So if you like band chart, I have two examples, maybe three examples of using the band chart and put the numbers into context. Actually, one of them that I like, and maybe since Ronald is here, let's go to that one. Click here more, and we can go down where I mean the small multiples band chart natively. There you go, right there. Okay, you can download this PBX file right here, where it says right at the bottom, no comments. Kind of bummed out, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, this is all love to art that we will talk in a bit, Nestor. But if we open
Uh-huh.
the band chart real quick, then this is nice because this graphic right here comes from this book. Maybe I don't know if people can see it clearly, but it comes from this book, from Factfulness by Hans Rosling. Okay, amazing book, an amazing book. The graphic is there, you find it. I just decided to replicate it and again put some music, and then say, okay, let's do this because I like this chart. And let's choose Curacao. Let's choose Curacao here. Where is it? Oh, I don't see it. I don't see Curacao. I don't see Curacao. Why is that? Curacao. Interesting. Why is not Curacao here? Maybe it has another name. Maybe Dutch. Dutch. Oh, sorry for this, Ronald. I don't seem to find it. It said, "I'm sure you're aware of the danger of averages. Thinking about the outliers and influences." Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That if you,
it
yeah,
might be
yeah, of
it might be
course.
better if we have a weighted average or a rolling average to smooth those crazy ups and downs. Yeah, but
Crazy.
I see Ron's point there. Yeah.
Yep, and it is a totally valid point because then you want to go to a standard deviation and then other metrics that kind of like say, can I
Hmm.
trust the average? Maybe that get the medium too. And again, look, I use also the median. I'm using the median here, and look how the line, the orange line changes. You know, it really the shape changes quite a bit. So maybe we can do. We'll stay with it. We stay with median, but then look how the child mortality, of Argentina, okay, kind of went under the world median average, of the world median, right after year 1896. Of course, we have to assume this data is legit. I mean, it comes from his book too. I mean, Gapminder, and moving averages are awesome. And I'll show you another example that I've done recently. Got fixed because I didn't notice the sort of the bug in it. Well, for example, here now you can see the band chart. How, for example, a country like Argentina got ahead compared to the world. The world is this, we're living in a good time. The line is really low compared to prior years, right? But then we see Argentina, which is black, and it really got ahead itself. It really decreased child mortality before the whole world. Okay, it's maybe not the best comparison. Maybe not the most precise comparison. But then look at Austria. Austria was right there, and then what could be this? You know, you ask yourself, what is this? Oh, look at the year. Second World War.
Yeah,
World War Two. Hmm.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely an outlier.
An outlier, totally, totally. And I
Mhm.
think maybe we can go to another country, maybe like Peru. Maybe let's do Peru, since you and me, Nestor, are from Peru. Peru, everybody's welcome. Here, look at that. So
We're in trouble. We were in trouble between 1950 and 2000.
we were above the world, but then
Yeah,
look at look how it just went down, and look at after Toledo gets in power, right? He
there
it
you
just
go.
like it went below that, right? But like let's go back to the 1990s, because we know. Oh, look at this. You don't see it, but I did see it. Look at this. Oh. Do you see this bump? Do you see like a bump here?
Yeah, tiny bump. Yeah,
What could that be? We know, right?
is
The
that the
terrorism.
is the
Yeah,
terrorism? Yeah, yeah,
terrorism. You see it right there. It's a very small bump, but it's right there. You know, and we know that, okay, because of terrorism, the child mortality went up a little bit because of all the death and all that. Maybe we can go to another country just to end this. Brazil. My wife is from Brazil. Look at that. Brazil was like, it has also an interesting shape. It's just like this, and then like this, and then it went. Brazil is an interesting case, especially because it has so diverse, but it's also very unequal. So interesting. Every time I go there, I'm like mind blowing, like the way the country is. Moving ahead with moving averages, I don't think I have it here. I do have it somewhere, but maybe we can. Maybe we'll do this because I know where I have it. I did send it to Federico. And let me. I'm getting it. I don't know if you have any questions. We'll go back to the memes here, but let me know if you have any questions, Nestor. Anything that maybe also, if you want to see on any other example, we can go real quick. Well, look at this, because I want to do
yeah.
rescue
So
Ronald's point. Yep.
yeah, there was a question on in the chat. It said, are you uploading this video to your YouTube channel? Yeah, it's already there. It's live. So it's live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also Facebook. Awesome. So can you go back to the previous to your website with memes? I do like another one as well.
Yep.
That is the previous
Which
one.
one? Which
It
one? Let me
was
go back to the cover.
yeah. Let's go there. Yeah, I think we already saw the Pope. Let's see. Yeah, the one on the left, the bottom, the left.
This one?
The yeah, the Arnold
Oh,
Schwarzenegger. Yeah,
the spark.
but
Yeah, the spark pie, huh?
no, the one that
Yeah,
you had it,
oh, oh, this one.
the one at the bottom, one below.
One below. Okay, you want this
Uh,
one? Okay.
that one, yeah. So let's see
Um.
that one.
All right. Okay. So, right, just proceeding to that one, Nestor. I just want to answer Ronald's, because he did have a good comment on the averages. That he said are better, and of course, so this is another project that I did with the foreign exchange rate. Since the the Peruvian sol is getting stronger compared to the dollar, we can see that real clearly here. You know, but then again, if your savings are in dollars in this country, then you start to get worried because you're losing money, right? So, and that's my case, because you see this line, before we were at almost 4 soles to a dollar because of all the political instability. We're the country where we have one president per year. So, if we give more context to this, look at this. I just want to add that, because look at this. You with this example, you can. If anybody's interested on this example, I can share. They can play around with it. But I'm just adding more of this, because look at before 2020. Okay, before the pandemic, we were at 340, and then Castillo, the president, got elected. And let me just put it, maybe just pull it a little bit of more years. So that way people can see that we were around 320, and 320 seem okay, you know. Let me take out none, and again, okay. So you can see how, sort of we were at 280, 280, right about what is that? That's about June of 2014, and we can see how, we were good, and all of a sudden, I think all of a sudden the political stability comes into play. We just see this like change. Okay, right at the beginning of 2016, we already at 340. So that's a big change. That we're talking about 60 cents. Okay, that's a big change for people who work with exports. This is like chaotic. I mean, this is like, whoa, and it happened just within half a year, because we were in 2014 until 2016. In 1 year and a half, you got 60 cents of change. It might seem small, right? But now when you're talking big money like exports and imports, right? And then all of a sudden, this stays, like it stay, kind of like there, kind of did stay a little bit low, around 320. That's what I was saying, 320. And then after the pandemic, or right before that, it just went all the way up again, all the way until reaching four. And we people were starting to get really afraid, because now, whatever you're making, and you're not saving in dollars, you're pretty much like screwed, And then it went down, and then it went up again, and then it's going down again. I hope we get to 320 sometime in the future, like maybe here, and then we get all the way to maybe 320 or 280. It's it's supply and demand, whatever is best, but then, um yeah. And then why is this example I wanted to show? Maybe, well, let me just turn this all up, maybe get it focused. Oh no, actually, we should have left it like that. My bad. Oh, this report is running slow. I didn't know it was running that slow. I'm gonna have to go my DAX Studio, open it, put some music, and then check out the average that you're seeing right now about 9 years plotted of data. Now let's just add the rolling average. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna put a rolling average, and look how the line's gonna look. But then the line gets smooth a little bit, but then we have to increase it by the number of days. Maybe let's do 45. And now the question comes, is it representative? Like, that's the other thing that you have to ask, to question yourself. Maybe let's do 90, the max. Okay. Now you have to question yourself, is that a representative metric of this line chart? It seems to be, I mean, you can look. What do you think, Nestor? What do you think there? Look, it's kind of like following the shape, the real data, the of the for of the rate, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So,
I mean, it's smoothing the ups and downs,
uh,
so it definitely gives you a better idea of the trends.
the trend, and you
Mhm.
have center too, which is not so common, but it's useful to have it at hand. So we just move it back, a bit back. So it's, yeah, there you go. So now see
Mhm.
how it just, and you offset, the average. So back and forth, back and forth. So I'm a more of a center moving average. I wonder
Mhm.
what Ronald is more leaning to. I'm more of a center because the center kind of gets closer to that. Now let's do rolling. Let's do 30 days, and let's decrease the years. Okay, so that way we can just see something really interesting. Okay, we're getting, wow, it's really slow. My apologies. Didn't know that it was that slow. Turn this, turn this, turn this. And there we go. We got 3 years. Okay, look at this. So we got 3 years and we're using rolling. And now let's do maybe 75 days or even 90 days. 90 days might be a lot, but look at the shape. It's a representative. This is why also data visualization is important. Like visualize your data, because we don't know, what kind of, we might get the metric. We're really doing the math correctly, but does it look right when you plot it? And that's why you have to visualize it. Like if we do center, I think center kind of, I like center. Look at this. We offset it to be back, okay, because it's a center moving average. It's 3 days before with 3 days forward, and I feel like this is more representative as opposed to rolling moving average. So moving average it's usually people, when they say that, they refer to rolling, but I think we should have both at, rolling and center, and let the user have the two options at hand. And if we were to maybe just do 1 year and maybe do 21 days, look at that. So it is smoothed out a little bit. Maybe we can do 45, and look at that. Okay, so now we're good there. Ronald is saying he never used center moving average. We'll look into that. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, yeah, Ronald. You're not the only one, man. A lot of people don't do center, and they should. They should
Yeah,
have it.
first time I heard about Center, so that's good.
Oh, two people. Nice, 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 nice.
Now this is very
Yeah,
helpful. Thank you.
yeah. If people wanted this report, I'm gonna put it here on the link, Nestor, so they can access it and
Mhm.
play around with it. Let me just try to get it again. And okay, so now let's go back to that meme. I call it
Yeah,
the Spark Pie. And the reason for the name, okay, is because of another book. And I'm getting the link here for this report and leave it. I'm putting it on the private comment, okay? So you can on the private chat, and you can leave that the Spark Pie is um, another another amazing book. We You should get it, Nestor, and everybody watching this, try to get it. An amazing book, an amazing book. I mean,
data work.
it's a that at work. All the examples here, all the examples, like, and let me. I always say I'm very supportive to Jorge's book because he's the one who wrote it. But if we go now to my website here again, sorry for the plug. Go to galleries. Okay, it's a new section that I created, and then go to inspiration. Galleries, and then inspiration. And once you click there, you will see that I'm putting everything that I gather from other places into one, so it can serve me as an inspiration place. Somewhere where I had to, like, I need inspiration, I need motivation. I go to my own my own website. So here on the bottom, here I have a section that I'm building, praising the work of Jorge, because all the charts that are done in this book, okay, are some of them are here, as are the ones that you're seeing on the screen. Some of them. That's not the whole thing. And the ones that I like the most, because when you click on it, look, it just show you that it was done in Excel, and you would not think that Excel can produce graphics like this, but it can. It can. You have this one, for example. This is amazing. And Jorge, all the graphics from his book were done in Excel. Look at this one. This one, the pyramid. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, beautiful in the functional sense of the word. Not beautiful in the way of what people want to impress. And no, no, beautiful in the way, like, he's combining here bar chart and dot plot. Which is the most probably one of the most efficient charts with the data to ink ratio. He's using box plot, and look at the way he's using box plot with this. He's using box plot with barcode plot, because you have these little ticks. So he's showing you the box plot and also, the individual points, and he's using Excel. So get that book. So okay, so why I had to mention that book is because he has a page. Carlos, you opened up a can of worms with this band chart, man. Yeah, well, okay. I'm glad to hear that, Ronald. Glad to hear that. Um, glad to hear that, and also pray. If you check out my LinkedIn post, you will see that I refer the website of Robert Montague from Germany, where he talked about a band chart in 2011, like more than was that 12 years ago, and it's still useful, and we still don't see too many band charts, unfortunately. But okay, sorry for that. So the book kind of, there's a page of the book where Jorge talks about, okay, the pie chart is really hated, but then can we use the pie chart to really like maybe use it to our advantage? And then in another course that he did on Skillshare.com, he talked about using the pie chart as an entry point plot of like initiating the conversation, saying, hey, we'll use the most basic chart of all to just start the discussion about analysis, analytics, analyzing the data. Let's go deeper. So that's why I call it the spark, the spark of sparking a fire. Because you have the pie chart here. If we go back to the mean, okay, we know that the most important slice is this one because it's the biggest one, okay? But then you know it's just like it's hard to process it everything, because first I have to compare with the eye all the slices, their sizes, and then I have to scan their number with their percentages with the slice and do this. So look all the tasks that your brain is doing. He's associating. First he scanned, and then he associated each individually. Is an option, but then we have the Spark Pie where actually, okay, you select first what brand you want to analyze. 21. We take our time. 35. Okay, 35 of what? Of $124 million of sales. Okay, and then this is what happened to a lot of people. Then they say, okay, that's awesome, good, but what makes that slide? What makes this slice? What's the composition of that? So what they're asking is saying, okay, let's put a tooltip, and then I'll show you what brand. I'm just gonna put it right here. So blenders, okay, is the category of products that make up for brand 21. So I'm increasing the context. So that's why the spark pie, because we started with the pie chart, I think nicely or maybe not so terribly designed in order to invite more questions, and that's why you see now the bar chart here extending the context. Now we can know 16 million, okay, of 43 are for blenders, and then combos and rice cookers are another potentially maybe 15 or $15 million, okay. And we can see that these are the top three, and maybe this is another group of more of individual products. So then the manager come and say, okay, and is that brand increasing, or is it trending up or trending down? So now let's switch the tooltip, and now click here, and then we see that same brand, and we can see that it is trending up. I mean, sort of, if we go more, if we get more meticulously, because we can see a simple a linear regression, or a linear, it will be like this. So it does ask that, but would it be representative? That's debatable, but we can at least say that it was above $500,000, and then went above $1 million. That's why I love my grid lines if they're subtle and in gray. Gray is your friend. But then it went down, and we might ask why. What happened here? Why did it went down and then stabilize? It did a little bit of zigzagging, but it did stay right below 1 million, and we didn't increase. So maybe a lot of questions come here, and say, what was this? Like, what led to this increase? And can we repeat it? So again, we started from a pie and we selected. And then maybe the last one, the scatter plot, is, can you show me if there we have outliers? Again, Ronald mentioned this name, this word on the chat, outliers. And we do have an outlier. We have it right here. We don't know which product it is, but at least we know that there's a product that kind of like sells a lot more than 10,000 units, maybe close to 20 or maybe 18, and it helps to sell more than $3 million, more than that, um, and then we have a bunch of products that are really clustered here, and then we do have a other set of products that we can say they sell good, but so we do have the outlier, and then the spark kind of like help with that. So that's pretty much it. I mean, if you wanna the any questions, Nestor, or
No, I mean the only comment that I had was related to the pie chart. I mean, it's really overwhelming if you have a lot of categories like you're seeing the one at the top. But if you minimize the categories just to a couple or three max, that's totally fine. I mean, it's readable and it's also it conveys the message that you wanna see. So that's good.
yeah. So
Awesome.
the pie chart is not a bad chart. It's the
Mhm.
design, It's the design that
Mhm.
actually that is the implementation that where a lot of people fall off. But if you really
Mhm.
hone the implementation, that the chart can really be very accessible. That was the aim of the meme is let's do accessible pie charts. Okay.
Exactly.
Uh.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't we go over the next point? I know we
Yep.
look at a couple of visualizations. Thank you for sharing those. So what motivates you to create content? So what is your inspiration? Why do you do that?
So the basically motivation I would say is if it helped me, if I learn, then I think it might be useful for another person. So that's my big. If it helped me, then I can help somebody else. Uh, yeah, and when we create content, is now more competitive than ever. We're fighting for people's attention. What I do is just like I don't care. It's like I just love to the art, man. I just put it out there, and if it resonate with some folks, good. If it doesn't, um, good as well, because that's what happened with the meme report. I published it without expecting anything, but then Brian Julius saw it and then really like praised me and really like motivated me to okay, there's some value here. I thought it was a very silly thing to have done it at that point, but then it did show some impact and positively, and it was always in good faith, in goodwill, to have that impact. So that's my biggest motivation. If it really helps me, I think it can help somebody else. Yeah. Um, Help others and connect with professional. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you ask me for some advice, I really throw out. I think I become too overwhelming because I send links, I send referral of books, and then I tell it follow this person or maybe check out this guy's Twitter account, uh, and because I'm just trying to be resourceful, and then that really helps out on the being genuine. I think that's the name, the word, that it really helps out to connect with others that are on the same path as you, really becoming learners and like um lifelong learners, a never ending journey if you really adopt it.
Yes.
That's been my case. Yeah.
Yes. My thinking is I have to be better than myself, but better than yesterday. You know what I
Better
mean?
than yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. But comparing to myself, not compared to others, because everyone is different. Everyone learns differently. They have their own way, their own style, their own strategy. But when you're learning something new, always compare to yourself from yesterday, if that makes
Exactly.
sense. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
Mhm.
and my advice too about comparison, Nestor,
Mhm.
because thank you for bringing it, is that don't try to compare yourself with others because it will make you more anxious.
Exactly.
And if you can handle anxiety, well, okay, but not a lot of people, nah. I mean, and also, and I always say this because in social media you see like LinkedIn and Twitter and many other platforms, people putting out their work and trying to grab the attention, I would recommend you like just actually forget about attention. Just do it because you feel right. You feel comfortable with publishing it, and you're open to feedback. Hopefully, very respectful and constructive feedback. You might also get trolls too. I mean, you also got to be open minded about that. But
Right. Have to
ignore ign-
be thick
ignore
skin.
those. Yeah, ignore those and grab the goodies. And the goodies might become connections on LinkedIn. Might lead to friendships.
Exactly.
Um, but don't be afraid of putting content. Don't be afraid of putting your work out there if you really want something of a more impartial feedback, because usually when you ask to your friend or to your mother or your father, they're
Exactly.
gonna say, oh, it looks nice you know but sometimes you really want, no, be critical, so
Exactly.
then
We need to ask Ron for
Ronald,
feedback.
yeah, Ronald. Yeah.
Exactly.
um
Awesome.
yeah, so that's the motivation. And now you want to go ahead with this one, or you have any
No,
other?
that's good. Let's go ahead and tell us more about
Wow.
your
Okay,
new
so
your new award. Think it's really really empowering what you're doing. So well
uh
deserved. Tell us more about your journey. How do you get the Microsoft Most Valuable Professional Award?
okay, so just I did yesterday I did have maybe let me pull that up. I did have a conversation with Cristiano Galvao from Brazil. He's the one right there, and we got to put it on screen. He's the one who nominated me for the MVP. And I have to also say that it was the third time um, I got offered to be nominated, because I kind of said I kind of denied the first two just because of imposter syndrome. Um, I really thought that I was not qualified, or maybe no, because I really, like, again, like comparison. I was comparing myself to like people like you, people like Chandy from Goodly, people from other people who, like, they're very disciplined on putting content, valuable stuff, and you know, uh, I don't know if I'm up to that point. I put my stuff. I share with the people that I care about. I mean, that I my connections and all that, and the work that has helped me. And again, if it helped me, it can help somebody else. And I think that's what Microsoft have seen, because it's really a more of a secret formula for them too, as well, and for us too. But the first two times it was Jordan Goldmeyer, author of this book. Let me just see, where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it. But the book that impacted me the most, it was this one from him, Excel Essentials. My goodness, this book is amazing, amazing, amazing. So many good tricks for Excel. And then he told me, I want to nominate you, and I was like, hey, no, I just don't feel qualified. Just being like that. You can say lack of confidence, of course. Imposter syndrome. And then Os du Soleil offered me the same opportunity, and then again, same reason as like, hey, also just I don't think I might not get it. Being a little bit negative about it. And then Cristiano Galbao this year came, and then I said, you know what? I really feel bad saying no, so let's just go ahead with it. And I told Cristiano right from the beginning, if I get it, if I don't get it, it's totally fine. I just keep being myself, same Carlos as always. But if I do, awesome, awesome. Now, when I did get it, I got a little bit like surprised. I was shocked. I was like, wow. I mean, amazed, And then I did got some feedback, and it's not I Microsoft do value many things. It's not just putting content. There's many things that plays out to become an MVP. And now that I'm becoming MVP, I'm starting to see some benefits, because you get to talk to the people from Microsoft, the engineers themselves, and we're providing them feedbacks. And I mean, just this sort of communication is really important. Like, it just it's great, and it's something that doesn't last forever. This is gonna last only for 1 year. I have to demonstrate within 1 year from now that I'm still supporting the community. I'm still helping other people. also helping out the engineers as well, so we can improve Excel and Power BI. And yeah, that's pretty. I think you stopped sharing my screen, Nestor. I just want to maybe go back to that, and just want to thank Cristiano Gobal again, because if it wasn't for him, I mean, I wouldn't be here. I mean, maybe I would have gone back to Oz or Jordan with a little bit of shame. Hey, now I'm interested, but no, I mean, Cristiano really. Obrigado to this friend that I actually met. I don't want to make the story too long, but I was one day at the airport, decided to message him on Sao Paulo. He kindly said yes to me. Like, we never met each other in person. We met up at a Starbucks. I was waiting for another flight. Met with him, got back to the airport and left. And then ever since we kept in touch. So really amazing person. If you've seen Excel Weekend, it's because he organized it in Brazil. It's a yearly event
Mhm.
that is really fun. That really connected a lot of people in Brazil. A lot of people in Brazil, and
Right.
all thanks to Cristiano. So
So do you
that's
guys do
been
it? Do you guys do it in English, the session, or in
no, no,
Portuguese?
no. We did in Portuguese. We did in Portuguese, but
Do
you
you?
might understand. You might. I think I did a
But
little
how
bit of
about you? Do you
Portuguese.
handle Portuguese as well?
I think I did Portuñol. Portuñol. I think yeah, I
Portuñol,
did
yeah.
terrible. I did terrible, but I try to talk my best. I try to maintain it, but I think I have to do more live streams because I have other people already on my target list that I
Uh-huh.
want to talk to, because yeah, they done some incredible work. The uh, part of the journey too, just in case, is that's been commented, is because I did show, for example, again, love to art, all these example of dynamic arrays, with charge, and I think that play a key part of just really showing what's possible. You did the dynamic arrays for functions, for spreadsheets, for calculations. I just decided to connect what I like, which was the visualization, with this new functionality of Excel. And yeah, and everything. I think also a good thing for people who are also interested, maybe in becoming MVP. Um, it's not about also creating content. It's also about helping the community. And my approach or my style was giving away these workbooks, because many folks suggested me you should sell them, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I could have sold them, but the thing is, like, I felt more on my soul to really share it, because I learned about how to build it. One, I also learned about the graphic, and I think we talk about this, Nestor. For example, cycle plots. I did learn it from Jorge's book, but then when I replicated on Excel, it just really I just felt that, okay, now I really understand the graphic.
Yeah,
So
theory is key, definitely.
that, and also the quartet. Again, I understood what I was trying to say, but then when I decided to make the calculations, on spreadsheet, then I really understood. Oh wow, okay, now I understand why this is so important in that visualization. To learn about this quartet thing. The offset graph. Wow, that was a fun one. That was very fun. And again, I decided to share all this with the community, and in a way, it's a bit of a open software or open code philosophy. You're willing to share it. You're not willing to keep it to yourself, and like, hey, this is my precious. So
Exactly.
yeah,
No, that's great.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. It tells you a lot about your style.
And
So thank you for sharing that.
yeah, and you know what, Cristiano Bilbao yesterday, they told me that this is not a closed program. Everybody is welcome to become, or to be apply, or to aspire to become MVP. Okay,
Mhm.
and one of one of the, let me put it here, the most value, that's the website. You can find out about this website. Maybe I'll put it here on the private chat, Nestor. So if you wanna Uh, in my opinion, I think you should be MVP. I'll say this openly because you are educating us in two languages, which is double work. You don't see that often. You don't see people doing in two languages. I've started it and now being very disciplined about it. I'm posting in Spanish and then English, Spanish and English, and I'm working also on my website to become also the Spanish version of this. A little bit slow, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Um, and then on that website, it just tells you, explore. It just tells you what it takes to be an MVP. So that's you click there and it will tell you, and it's really aspirational, because you get to talk to the people, the engineers of Microsoft, who really want to hear your opinion. And one of the ways that Cristiano was telling me was that, you know, feedback, go ahead and start saying, hey, you can improve the tool by doing this. That was one way. There are many ways, but that was one way. You can go to the forums and try to answer questions of people. You can create content like you're doing. You can create community. You can create events. So you can promote Microsoft products and all that. Now there are a couple of policies that Microsoft have in place, for this. Really have to be, from the very soul about community. And check out this website here. Um, and again, I think it's not a closed community; it's a very open community. But you do have to show or demonstrate, a really sense of leadership, and also that of giving back and all that. And yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think
That's great. That's great.
any questions, Nestor, with that,
No,
or
this is good. Thank you for sharing the steps to become a Microsoft most valuable professional. Like I said before,
yeah.
well deserved. Keep up the good work. So let's move on to the next one, and it's related to projects. I know you have a really nice project going on in Peru. So tell us more about that.
Okay, so just in case, I'll correct this just because Peru. um,
There you go.
uh, just because and this is I didn't do it because of once I when I got nominated from the MVP was I think around February or March, and I started the community in April, but I didn't find out about the MVP recognition not until maybe a couple of weeks ago. So I do want to put this out there that I did started data visualization for, again, love to art and the to support the community, because what happened is that you don't see, and you can find out about the website or the group here. I'll put it also on the chat, Nestor, so you want to share this on the chat, is because data visualization is usually the part that is not so well taken care of, as opposed to DAGs and optimize queries, optimize SQL, optimize pipelines, optimize pipelines within Azure. Data visualization is always like they left it at the last mile, and they don't give it the proper attention. um, so I decided, okay, we see this within the English speaking community, except if you talk to the Data Visualization Society, that which is an amazing community, and the Tableau folks, they care about that. But if you go back to maybe Excel and Power BI, you still see that we can improve more. We can become better with data graphics. Then that's within the English. But then if you go to the Spanish, then you see that there's more of a lack of presence of what to learn from. So everything that I have learned from my books has been always been within the English. They're all books written in English. So I say, okay, how can we maybe help out and promote the Spanish? And maybe I'm forgetting one point that is very crucial to say. How do we help out to people to find out about data graphics concepts, fundamentals, the principles in Spanish? Okay, so one way I said, okay, maybe we could do events. let's promote events, let's do workshops, let's do presentations in Spanish for Spanish speaking individuals to know about, data graphics within the Peru environment. And I forgot to mention that part of the initiative here was Sentido Analítica, which I host with Jose, because again, we were more of a more original level and saying, of all the things that they talk about Power BI, what is the one that they don't talk most? And we noticed that it was data visualization. We know a lot of people talking DAX, a lot of people talking query, uh, direct query, a lot of people talking about the SQL side of things, the backend, but we didn't saw a lot of people talking about data visualization in Spanish. So that's why we started these whole podcast things. And it was also love to art because it was mostly of me communicating with him internally all the time. Look at this article, look at this research, look at this new book. And then one day he decided, Jorge, it was Jose's initiative, hey, how about if we just go public with all this? And like, yeah, let's do it. So that was partly the reason for me creating that visualization Peru. But then I want to share this because this is also crucial. That because it was about community. That I think that was the bug. Sentido. I mean, the podcast with Rafael was a bit of the bug. But then, now the sort of the how do you call this in a good way, in a way of positively, in a positive sense, the one that really the trigger, the one that pushed me. Okay, you have to do it. You've been thinking about it, but now you have to do it for Peru. For the Peru ecosystem of an analysis. It was that one day I was helping out a lady from the Down Syndrome Society, and was helping out with some special project, and she just told me, I was curious, how was the pandemic for the society been, and she told me that it was horrible. When parents with their Down syndrome children will take their kids to the hospital because they got COVID, the hospital in Peru will kind of like deny them because they will tell them, hey, they're not first priority, they're, because they got heart conditions, that really hit my heart. Like I was like, I mean, it was like I was shocked, because I cannot imagine what the parent might even feel when they tell them, hey, he's not priority or she's not priority. We got to save other people who have more a higher chance. I just can't imagine how those parents might feel. So what they told me that as a society, okay, as a legalized institution, within registering public in public registros públicos, public registry in Peru, they got to they got, because they were a legal entity, they got to the point where they kind of like got to Congress, and Congress passed a law which included all the Down syndrome persons to be included with the third. I mean, I'm getting confused here with my words, but to be included with the first group getting vaccinated, along with the third. I mean, how do you say this? With the elderly, So they got to be included with this first group of persons, the first, starting with the elderly, along with them to be vaccinated. And they accomplished that because being a society, being a community. So that was my trigger. I was like, okay, now I just like the next day I just boom decided myself, let's do this and do this and pay for the fee for meetup.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that's the story, And now it takes a bit of leadership, and now with the same intent is about really helping out people, especially here in Peru, that there's people, yeah, like you too, but you're in the US, but you're from Peru. I mean, you're from Trujillo, and the reason for Peru originally it was gonna be data visualization Lima, but then I was like, screw this, like I'm tired of this whole central thing of Peru. Let's do Peru, and then eventually we might do events in Cusco, Ayacucho, Chachapoyas, Ica, Trujillo, Chiclayo, Tumbes, because I'm certain that there's people out there doing data
Yeah.
graphics,
Yeah, you
So
guys need to find those folks from every single region in Peru. Said, hey, this time we are having this conversation with someone from Amazonas. Next time we're having this conversation with someone from Cajamarca, so that
Yeah.
way you can fill out the Peruvian map from every single region. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, it's Peru because you have to start small, and I got to meet with a storyteller. Okay, a storyteller, like a comic storyteller from Cusco, and I'm planning to bring him into this because he also did a little bit of data storytelling for this newspaper in Cusco. So there you go. Now we're connecting, like yeah, Peru is a big country, but there's people doing graphics. I mean, in not maybe like graphics, Power BI stuff like you and me, but they're doing also graphics for journalism and for storytelling with comics. So it's interesting. I'm psyched with that. But first we have to finish Jerry David's presentation that he started with. He emulated this, and I discovered David through a private team event that he posted. And David is from Comas, from Peru, from Lima. And I told David, you have to present this. I mean, this cannot stay hidden. You replicated each individual graphic from that book. You did it in Power BI. No, that's amazing. We have to do it. So so we're still on part two, and I think we might go on to part four. But
That's
uh yeah, yeah.
that's
and
incredible.
and then, just as a side note, I also started Peru Excel users and lovers. I have to say that. Why? Because there's a lot of in LinkedIn. There's also a little bit of I don't want to say the word HATE, else you might get your video, um I don't know, banned or not banned, but punished on YouTube. So detractors of Excel. So that's why I included lovers, because again, Excel is useful, and then also the community there is to, hey, there is good resources, there's great books, there's great people actually teaching Excel. It's just that everybody's scattered around here in Peru. For example, Abraham Valencia, he works for the Congress of Peru. He's teaching Excel. He has a channel here. Maybe if I can pull it out. And then Abraham Valencia here, and he has his, right there, everything about Excel. And we plan to have him here on the show to talk to tell us about how to learn VBA, and also to have these events in person. That's also a nice thing, not just in Lima, but around Peru. And I think we will have more events because Excel is more broader than Power BI, right? Or it's broader than data visualization, because Excel, you can use Excel for anything, you know. So that's I we still haven't started any events, and I'm sorry for that, but we'll do soon in August and the rest of the year. And I really hope that we get to the every corner of Peru, because also, aside from having them in person, we want to record them so they are available for anybody on YouTube. So if we do an event in Cusco, I want to bring my whole equipment, my microphone and everything, and record it with video and audio, and then edit if necessary, and then load it on YouTube so people in Lima that cannot attend can see it, and vice versa. People that in Lima can attend in person, but people in maybe Ayacucho or maybe Tumbes, they cannot attend, that they can at least enjoy the content on YouTube. So that's where we're heading.
No, that's great
Um,
initiative. That's awesome, man. So let's move on to the next one.
Final thoughts.
One,
Yeah,
yes.
don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. You already gave me an hour and 48 minutes of your time, Nestor. So I think maybe we went over. Maybe not a bit. But um, I mean, never stop learning. Don't be afraid of saying I don't know. Don't be afraid of reaching out to others. Really, I say this with the deepest of my heart, because usually when you become a consultant and you become a freelance independent person, ego starts to build up, and because of the ego, you kind of get blocked and say no, I cannot reach other ones about this because they might think that oh, but are you not an expert or a specialist about it? And because of that, is counter productive, or counterintuitive, right? But no, actually, asking other people is an act of humility too, because you're telling, hey, I do need some help, and the other person might even get studied. Oh, wow, this guy wants some help from me. It's like, hey, I'm in. And you'll be surprised. You surprised, just reaching out people, it really can solidify a connection, a relationship, a friendship. And yeah, don't be afraid of asking for help. Don't be afraid of asking for resources, for guidance. And don't stop learning. Stay foolish, stay hungry. Well, Steve Jobs said, if you kind of extrapolate that a little bit, is stay always nerdy. Don't stop learning. If I always say this in a very cool humorous way. Uh, if you mature, you rot. So stay. I don't want to say that. Don't stay immature. Just staying. Because sometimes when we sort of think about it, maturity is like, oh, I cannot be doing this and all that. I'm already a grown up. But no, you still want to have your kid within you to to stay playful and keep learning. Like kids. We learn by mistake, we learn by practice, we learn by playing. Stay like that for the rest of the life and for the rest of your lives, and then it's just gonna play out well, and help others along the way too, in the way that is more comfortable for you. So that's my final thoughts, Nestor.
No, this is awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, Carlos. I know you are always busy, and I really appreciate the your
Oh,
time.
thanks.
Thank you for
No,
doing
thanks.
that. And I'm gonna share with you this video as well, so you can share with your
Oh, no, no, please,
followers.
no, Nestor, no, no. I don't want to steal the show. I mean, let's leave it on your channel, and I'm gonna refer it to that way. I can refer it to your YouTube channel so people can find out that you're teaching in Spanish and in English.
Spanglish,
So Spanglish,
Spanglish,
yeah, exactly. And
exactly.
no, and please keep it. And I think you should, I think you should be MVP too, because it's a lot of work.
That's a
It's
lot
a
of
lot of
work.
work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys, and for those who were with us on online, thank you guys for your time also, and stay tuned. We have really good content. More content is coming. Thank you again, Carlos, and see you next time.
No, thank you, Nestor, for the time.
Thank
An
you.
hour. I just had a good time here. I just went
No,
too
it was
fast.
great. It was great.
Too
Thank
fast.
you. Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
Bye.
take care, Nestor. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Ciao, ciao.